Hey everyone, Tony Walsh here. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a month since I announced the name change of the channel from Walsh Homestead Adventures to R W Farmstead. So, still got a lot of people asking why. Got a lot of family members asking why. So, today's the day that I tell you why. Remember what I said before, is the W does not stand for Walsh. The R and the W is for family members, Jackie's family members, honestly, because as crazy as this world is, it's time for us to get back to our roots. The government is run amok. This world's going to hell in a handbasket. So if we don't start preparing to take care of ourselves, we're going to be in a world of mess. We're going to be in a world of hurt because the government is not going to take care of us. The generation older than me lived through the government lines of getting cheese and milk and stuff like that, and I'm honestly afraid that that's where we're headed again. So I implore you to start preparing, whether it's growing a garden, doing something. You know, COVID brought that out in a lot of us. You know, you'll go back to some of my early videos in 2020 when Jackie started building raised beds. You know, and we've had small gardens since then. Have had one big garden, but we're trying to go back to a big garden this year. Also in our life, you know, as I've said in the January 1st video, was that we're moving from the neighborhood to the her mama's place. We'll be moving there hopefully sometime in 2024, and hopefully start building a new house later in 2024 as we get moved out of ours. You know, it's still going to be a couple months before that happens. But why the R and W? Well, both of Jackie's great-grandfathers were farmers, come from farming families. So, I guess let's just go see what the R stands for first. So the R stands for Rollerson, and that would be Jackie's great-grandfather, Oliver Rollerson. I was gonna show the road sign, but ironically it has come down for some reason. But for those of you that have been following us for a while, and when our oldest son John was farming, you've seen us farm cotton in this field and saw him farm peanuts in this field. This is the Rollerson property. This was Granny Reen's. Lived here when I first started dating Jackie and got married to Jackie, and I don't know the whole history of this piece of property. One day I'm gonna bring Blessed Nana, which is Jackie's mama, and maybe we can continue our Who We Are series. But anyways, back there in the background you can see the pump and the power pole for the house. The septic tank's over there somewhere too. So, but the house used to sit here among these pecan trees. Field on the back side there, field here. Way in the background back there is the old Rollerson Methodist Church. Of course, obviously it's closed and growed up, so that would just be another history lesson. But others that have been following us for a while have seen us pick pears off this pear tree. And these are sand pears. They're harder than a brickbat, so you can't hardly eat them raw unless you got some sure enough good teeth. But they make great pear halves, pear pie filling, anything you want to do with pears. They make great pears. So we've got to do some pruning on that this year because it has several broke limbs. Of course, obviously we need to do some cleaning up with the Spanish moss. But the R stands for Rollerson. So I said the W doesn't come from Walsh. So where does the W come from? Let's go see. Well, what does the W stand for? Because you can see you're back in familiar territory, as had a few recent videos filmed at this location, which is our future home site. So the W, as I said, does not stand for Walsh. It stands for waters. And why waters? Well, Jackie's mama, bless Nana, my mother-in-law, my favorite mother-in-law, her maiden name is Waters. And Jackie's great-granddaddy Rollerson is bless Nana's grandfather. So both of those names, Rollerson and Waters, have a deep history rooted in Pierce County, Georgia, where we live. So I just wanted to go back to the roots. And that's where the roots of this family started, was with Rollerson and Waters. Because if we as a country, we as a people in this country, if we don't get back to our roots, we're in for a heck of a mess. I believe our country is too far gone. There's no way to straighten it out. So it's going to be survival of the fittest. And that's the basis for homesteading, or in our case, farmsteading. I'm bending down to pick up pecans while I'm walking and talking. So why the difference between homestead and farmstead? Well, for the most part, this will be a homestead, and I've done some review on the difference in the terms. Most homesteaders just raise things for themselves, whether it's fruits, vegetables, eggs, meat, meaning chickens, cows, goats, whatever, and they raise it for just themselves. Where farmsteaders, for the most part, raise it for themselves and then have a little extra to sell, which would ultimately be my goal in the long run. And that's going to be a long run. So that's the difference between homestead and farmstead. Plus, R W Farmstead just sounds better than R W Homestead. So the R is for Rollerson, the W is for Waters. But on our logo, it does say Walsh family. So I did keep our name in there for part of it. So that's why the name change. That way, and it just broadens the scope, because instead of just me and Jackie and our children, or bless Nana, across the branch is Jackie's niece and nephew-in-law, and you have seen them and their girls in some of my videos. Farther down across the branch over there is Jackie's sister Becky. She lives over there, and they're the Crumps, and you've seen Keith and Becky and their remaining daughter Kelly. You've seen them in videos. So I just want this channel to move back into a family, because again, it's the family that's got to stick together. The government is not there to help us. The government is not there to protect us. The government there is to, for the lack of a better term, rape and pillage. They have taken things from us against our will by taxing us to death. Taxing is not voluntarily, which means it's against our will. I don't know if you can see back down in there. I can zoom in a little bit. You can see the remains of the shelter. That's a hog barn. So I don't know if I'll ever have pigs here. I'd like to have one, but at least it's far enough away from the rest of the stuff that if there is any odoriferous smell, it's down there. Of course, there is a pond there, and you've seen that pond before in my Farm Truck Fridays that I've done, so should be able to catch some fish to sustain ourselves out of there. On the other side of the pack house over there is that big pond that I used to do a lot of my Farm Truck Friday videos from. This time of the year is just not conducive to that, because by the time I get off work on Thursdays and get home, it is just way too dark. So that's why I've been having to do them in my man cave at the house. But hopefully one day when spring comes, the time changes, I can get back to doing the Farm Truck Friday videos over there. So there's a lot more I could say to the name change, but it would make this video longer. But those things that I could say goes back to the more of the history of the Rollerson in the water's name. So I'm going to save them for future videos and hopefully get my mother-in-law to take a ride with me to give us some of that history. So now everyone knows what the R stands for, knows what the W stands for, why I chose Farmstead. But again, the remaining parts of our logo, and you can see it on the hat, which is the thumbnail, is faith, family, and farming. We have to put God first, then our families, and then farming is what brought all this together. Now that field across the dirt road, that is one of Jackie's aunts. Part of this surrounding is Jackie's aunts. So, not all blessed nanas, but we still have some work to do. So I need to get to work. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to all my new subscribers that I've got recently that you'll continue to hang with us, and I'll do my best to hang with you. But as I said, faith first. So until we come back together, I truly appreciate your support and pray that God blesses you the way He continues to bless us. So until then, y'all take care, and God bless.